Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
What's going on, everybody? Wow, we have a show.
Boy, howdy.
Yep.
We have a show, so here's what we're doing tonight. We're going to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
And, I said that weird, I'm sorry, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because we all watched it. It's on Disney Plus now, so Melanie and I missed out on the theater experience. This would definitely be a good movie to see in the theater.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think if we would have gone to it in IMAX, this would have been one that would have been worth it. And Holly kind of likes IMAX, so she kind of floated that idea. I was like, man, there's one, maybe two places you can do that,
Right.
So
I like Savannah's right on time with her. I'm Savannah, dudes.
and very Ninja Turtle-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Savannah's here. She's our special cat dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Cat pizza pepperoni
She
dancer.
Dances with the cats.
The Pizza Papa.
The pizza papa. She said she got a bit dehydrated today, so she probably won't last long. That sounds fatal.
Yeah, that
You should
sounds
probably drink some
ominous.
water.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
drink some water, yeah.
Savannah, shout out to you because you support us. Somebody else could also support us if they felt so inclined to go to patreon.com/GrawlixPodcast. Do it.
Do it.
Um,
Do it. I dare you.
We're one of the few Patreons that are still around that offer the $1 tier. Most people don't even offer that tier anymore, but we do.
Right.
We know how expensive everything is right now.
Yeah. We're not gonna change it yet.
Nope. We're not going to change it. We're not going to change the tier descriptions.
No. Why would we update things?
You're right.
You know, I read an article today that said millennial income is 20% less than their parents' incomes at the same point in their lives. If you switch it up for inflation or whatever.
Awesome. That's great.
Only our truest supporters dehydrate themselves at work to support us. She said, I got dehydrated at work to support you guys.
Wow.
You don't have to do the $10 a month tier if it means getting dehydrated at work.
Right.
You could bounce down to that $1. It's fine. You're here anyway. You get a shout out regardless.
Electrolytes. It's what plants need.
Yep.
Uh,
It's amazing how that comes up quite often here.
I do mention it quite a bit, and I've only seen that movie once, but that bit, it just stuck with me.
I've seen that movie a couple times. Also lived it for several years.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Totally worth it, she says. Yes. Future listeners and viewers, be like Savannah. Sacrifice yourself to support us. Your health and well-being.
To join us.
Join us. So, hey, how are you two doing?
I
love that.
More
I know
I'm
I
more
kind of
hydrated than Savannah, I think.
Right.
Right. I'm going to make sure.
She says, but she wants a Ken Burns episode.
She deserves one
Oh, yeah.
because she's higher than the puppet enthusiast tier,
It's true.
which I believe is only $2, right? Or is that the $5 tier?
It might be $5. It's like, I think
Oh,
1,
okay.
5, 10, maybe something like that.
Yeah, for $5, you can tell us what to do.
You
Like Savannah, we won't necessarily listen.
Right.
She's been asking for a while, but eventually we might get there.
We'll get around to it. Somewhere in a multiverse, we do a Ken Burns podcast.
Yeah. We've probably done over 100 episodes of that podcast.
Yeah. Then we stopped. We skipped 100.
Yeah.
That would be
I feel like that's just what we do in every universe.
In some universe. There's an episode 100.
I 100 you in every universe.
Savannah knows what wants to know what he's drinking.
It's water. Like you should have.
Oh, what do I got here? Clear American citrus. That's pretty refreshing. She'll claim she dehydrated herself at work for us, and then we sit here and like taunt her with drinking refreshing fluids.
These are replenishing fluids that my kidneys need to function.
Mine aren't. I'm drinking liquor and Monster, so.
That is not good for your kidneys and probably dehydrating you.
Right.
It's what Melanie craves. It's what Melanie needs.
It's what plants and Melanie needs.
Well, great. Good.
just now that we got that out of the way.
Here's a thing. I watched something. We've been watching The Boys. We might wait till Jesse you get caught up in The Boys before we really dive into The Boys. I also watched The Raid, or The Raid Redemption as it's known, which I've seen before, but I just remembered that The Raid 2 is a movie that exists that I've never seen. So I was like, hey, I want to watch The Raid 2. Then I was like, wait, I should watch the first one again. Are you familiar with this movie?
Every time you say The Raid, I realize that I'm a product of the 80s, and all I can think of in my brain is like a cockroach going, Raid!
Oh my God, yeah, okay, wow, that's a
So the shorter answer is no.
That's a poll. I don't know why I bring it up, just because I watched it. It was good. It's worth a revisit. It's a super actiony thing.
It's like the hallway hammer scene, except the whole movie, right?
Yeah, you ever seen Old Boy, where it's got that awesome hammer hallway scene?
I
where
really
he takes on
need
a bunch
to
of dudes
watch old guy. What's it?
Old dude. Old Boy.
Old Boy. I was wrong 3 times.
Watch the original Old Boy.
Don't watch the American version.
I haven't seen the Spike Lee version.
Don't watch
the American remake, but
But it's on Netflix, right? Because I've heard it. Like people have recommended it multiple times.
What's that? Old Boy?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's on Netflix, but yeah, it is good. You should watch it. But The Raid is what?
Oh, go ahead, finish.
No, nothing. I was just going to reiterate that. Yeah, basically, if somebody was like, "What if Old Boy hallway scene except the whole movie?" It's pretty awesome. It's pretty good.
Wow.
It's been out for a long 20. It's been out for 10 years, so some fresh viewing for you.
Certified
fresh.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to mention it because
I was gonna comment.
Please
I was
do.
gonna comment on Savannah. She was gonna watch classics, either Shawshank Redemption or 7 Years in Tibet. I think Savannah's looking for a happy weekend, huh?
You're right. I've never seen 7 Years in Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I have either. I've seen bits of it though, but either way, I know it's not a happy time movie.
And as a
Shawshank
child
Redemption.
of the 80s, like neither of those feel like they should be considered classics.
I know. I think Shawshank Redemption, maybe. That seems like one of those movies that like came out and everybody's like, it's classic, like instantly. Remember people watching it in school. It's like, what?
They're both good. I like them both, but I just that makes me feel old. Just like Huey Lewis in the News being on the oldies station.
Right,
that does seem old to me, though.
Oldies, golden oldies.
Speaking of actual classics, yeah, there is a David Bowie song.
Called 7 Years in Tibet. Yeah. But 7 Years in Tibet is older, sure, but I'm with you, Jesse. They shouldn't be classics yet.
Anything with Brad Pitt in it shouldn't be a classic yet.
No. But that makes him feel old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be like a grandpa in something. Although, still one of the hottest movies in the world right now is Tom Cruise from 1984.
Yeah, that's crazy. Thelma and Louise, yeah. That's a classic.
That might be a classic at this point.
That one's older, too, I believe, than those others.
Yeah. That was like the movie that made Brad Pitt become famous, though. So that one kind of doesn't count because it's him as a little boy.
Right.
I don't know, man. True Romance. That skyrocketed Brad Pitt in my mind.
Yeah, suddenly I cared about him.
I'll effing kill you. It's like his best role. I love that. He's got two lines in that movie, and it's so good. Anyway, let's talk about Star Wars. Here's our segue.
That's a great segue, yeah. Condescend to me, man. I'll be a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
I'll kill you.
I'll bring you to the edge of death and then just let you go again.
Right.
And they don't kill him in True Romance. They don't. He's fine. He's just a stoner dude on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
He threatens to kill somebody under his breath when they can't hear.
Yeah. So passive aggressive.
I feel like he was channeling, like, I don't know, Kato Kaelin before anyone who knew who Kato Kaelin was. It's like the dude on some celebrity's couch or something, you know?
Yeah.
Couch surfer at some actor's house.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in that movie is, like, hyper real, you know? Like, there's not a normal character in that whole movie. Even the dad, even the Dennis Hopper dad is like...
Well, you Dennis Hopper dad.
He's Dennis, yeah.
You already ruled out normal.
Right. But, like, that's as close to normal as you get. That's as grounded as you get.
When Dennis Hopper's as grounded as you get in your movie.
Right? Yeah. You got Michael Rappaport in there.
Yep. It's so interesting. It's so interesting also to see, like, Michael Rappaport's playing the would-be actor, and he wasn't known yet. And Brad Pitt's his, like, just stoner couch surfing buddy. It's like, wait, what? Weird. Anyway. So,
welcome to a True Romance podcast.
Right. We've already talked about that on a show. Go revisit Grawlix Cinematic Universe. Episode something.
Yeah, that one.
Jesse was on there with us.
Yeah.
What did we pair that with? Was that Reservoir Dogs, or was that... No, that was
it
Pulp Fiction.
Another Tarantino? Like, it was
all
Tarantino all the time, right?
No, we might have paired it with something else, since that would have technically, I think, been the Tarantino pick, since he wrote it.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Oh, it was Pulp Fiction. It was Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Because my my mashup pitch was Cocaine College or something like that.
Oh, right.
And it was taking the cocaine characters from both movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
GCU season Terran 3 now.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, there you go. It is.
Yep. Worth a revisit, that show. If you haven't listened to any of those, go listen to them. All of them. Now. Or later, after we're done doing this. After we're done meandering at you.
You know who seems like he would have had fun in Cocaine College? Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I tell you what, Obi-Wan needs a lift up, a pick me up.
A little bit.
He's kind of low energy a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, so we just finished the season this evening, and most of the season I'm like, man, Obi-Wan's kind of like the worst Jedi. He's not the worst Jedi, but he's not particularly great. But then watching this last episode, I was like, you know what it is? He's just a dude. Like, he's a Jedi, but he's just like the universe would have to be full of, like, your schlubby jobber Jedis. Like, yeah, he's a Jedi, but he's just living his life. They can't all be like Luke Skywalkers and Rey, chosen one type Jedi. He's just a jobber, and that's how he comes across.
He's like a Jedi master, but like Luke Skywalker is seeing Force ghosts before he's even considered a regular Jedi, let alone a master.
Right. Obi-Wan's just like, man, he can't commit. He's got to finish a job. He just can't do it.
To be fair, he's really got PTSD. Like, he's the most PTSD Jedi ever. Somehow.
That's true.
Even Vader's not as PTSD as he is.
That's also, that's a good point. I liked this season. I thought it was okay. I seen some comments online, and I think people were really loving these last couple episodes. they weren't bad, but I was kind of like, I don't know why. I think I was more intrigued on the lead up than the finish, the follow through. I don't know.
Sure. Well, it was all character development, and then the last 3 were just like kind of action. Like,
That's true.
3 episodes of like, oh yeah, we've got a plot we got to tie up here.
I do feel the last showdown between Vader and Obi-Wan was improved. Was an improved action scene over some of the ones, because that was that was my main talking point about it last week, was just like how kind of disappointing the action direction was, and I feel like that was improved.
Well, they didn't have any branches to overcome in this episode, so.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I think that last time we talked about it, I called it almost on the chick, because she was not. I mean, she is a bad guy, but she wasn't really that bad. She was inside. She was good.
Oh, you totally called it, and that's why like myself and several people in the chat last week were like, "Oh God, you guys need to watch that episode," because everything we're actually talking about had happened in the episode you guys hadn't seen.
Right. I don't know. I don't buy a total change of character. I buy that maybe it was a weird decision to be like, I'm going to go kill this little boy, and that's my revenge. It's like, that's...
Yeah, that was the one thing that I was like, why are you doing this? Like, you have a hole in your stomach. You should sit in a Bacta tank.
Right. So I can buy that, though, that bit of character where she's gets there and she's like, I can't do it, because that's pretty hardcore. That said, like, as terms of like, you're free now, she did some pretty evil stuff still. I feel like that's that's inside of her, and that's not going to go away. Like, she's not going to just get a change of heart to where she's now a good person.
And she's got information that like very few people in the galaxy have. And we're just going to trust her with it after she almost murdered a child?
Yeah, that was another thing. I was like, she's a loose end, Obi-Wan.
On both their parts. I'm surprised Vader let her go either.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knew that she knew he was Anakin, but I think he did by the way he talked to her. He called her a youngling and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, he totally recognized her as, I think he
did.
Knew.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. Everybody in this show letting people go when they shouldn't be. It's weird. That's
Vader let them like just him stabbing her and then walking away. That's like, man, I don't know. It's one of those things where it doesn't make sense. It's a dumb decision because they need the character to be around. And which
to what end though? Like, is she coming back in season 2? Is she getting her own spin-off? Like, what's up with this?
She's gonna go be on the Mandalorian.
No, that's too big of a time gap, though, isn't there?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, she'd be really old.
I guess it wouldn't be too big of a time gap, but there's a big time gap.
Yeah.
What would you put Luke's age?
Because Luke would be like, well, if Leia is 10, then so is Luke. So that'd be, well, 8 years, because he was like 18 in A New Hope. I don't know how. Okay. I don't know what the timeline is.
It'd be like 20-some years.
Yeah. Because then Mandalorian is a couple years after Jedi.
Okay, yeah. Well, I get it's conceivable, but we'd have to buy that she aged at least 12, 13, 14 years at least.
Right.
Oh, when you had mentioned it last, we hadn't seen it yet, but the particularly in the flashbacks, the Anakin.
Oh, the Uncanny Valley, yeah.
I was not a fan. I was like, oh, that's
well, and his voice is so different, and yet they kind of like alter it a little bit so that at least sounds like young Anakin at the beginning, but like he's got such an Eric Roberts voice that it's like, no, he doesn't even sound the same.
Why put his face, his like kind of modern face on him? Like, why do that? Just deep fake on his own face from those movies. You can do it. If you need a different, like, maybe even do a facial capture to get his performance, but like, don't try to then graft part of his features from his current face, his new face.
Yeah,
his current face.
It was not a very good deep fake because of that too. You know, like even the Obi-Wan deep fake wasn't very good.
It was a little weird, especially I don't know. I think the face looked better on Obi-Wan, but it didn't fit whoever they had playing the body or something. Something about the head shape or something was off. Whatever. It was a little weird. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. They definitely didn't channel Book of Boba, Luke Skywalker resources on those scenes, but
and Kumail
call. I want him. Where's our lovable dirtbag Jedi smuggler spinoff? That's what I want.
I was gonna say, like, that's the spinoff we all want, right?
Yep. That's like I'll even sideline my Head Tails and the Mechanic spinoff for a Kumail call spinoff.
Right.
In fact, I don't really want the Head Tails and Mechanic spinoff, but that's a callback.
Unless he's there, like, getting parts for her or something. Like, he's running interference with the other Jawa. Like the Jawa X. That's the thing. It's just this whole thing, and Kumail's there, and he's just like, "These are not the parts you're looking for." And he just uses a magnet to get a part from across the room.
Right. Yeah, I wish there were more. I wish there were more Kumail in it.
It's actually more Kumail than I thought we were going to get. Right. And I was pleasantly surprised because it just felt like a one-off episode cameo kind of thing.
Yeah, they give him some nice stuff, some nice scenes. He actually has kind of a character arc for like such a kind of otherwise minor character in the overall season.
Right.
He's got more development.
But it basically his character arc was like, no, I was really actually a pretty good dude all along. I'm just a liar.
Right.
Like that's basically been his arc. It was like,
and I'll swindle you a little.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But I'm a good dude.
You could trust me.
Yeah.
Not with your money, but
no.
Yeah, I don't know. By the end of it, I was like, part of it is like the stakes. It's like the main characters, or for the most part, the main characters. You're like, none of them can die,
right?
Because they don't.
Right. Because we've seen the future.
Right.
Really, nobody died. Really? Well, I guess one person died.
Yeah, we met the scene that they died.
Yeah.
And some like nameless townsfolk, but
well, yeah, I was gonna say they mowed down a few randos in some like hallways or something, I think.
Right.
This last episode, I was also, while watching it, thinking a little bit about that, the whole prequel issue. Like, because that's something, I mean, if you're doing a prequel with established characters, that's a thing you got to concern yourself with. I think early on they did pretty decent at raising stakes by dragging Obi-Wan into the fire. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess we only, as an old Obi-Wan, he's always wearing a robe. We just can't scar this up, otherwise he's fine.
Right.
But the back to tank kind of like
nullifies most of that. Yeah.
It goes to comic book logic. It doesn't really matter.
We're all reading comments.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Total dead air. Sorry.
By the way, hey, Andrew, what's going on? He says if we don't get a Star Wars series called Princess starring Vivian, is it Lyra Blair? Lyra? It's a huge missed opportunity. Is she the little girl?
I'm assuming so, yeah. She was great. She was fun. I don't know what I'd have her do from week to week, but I mean, that would be a great show, especially for Disney. Like, come on, Disney.
That's true.
You've given us Visions. You've given us Bad Batch. It does make sense to... Actually, I want that to be a cartoon, though. Like, I want a cartoon version of Princess Leia and Lola on wacky adventures on Alderaan, so that we get to see more of Alderaan, because Alderaan's a cool-looking planet, and this is the first we've really seen of it.
That's true.
Well, even if it wasn't cartoon, it would still probably be half animated. So, I mean...
That's true. Alderaan, the droids, they're all animation.
What's a guy got to do to get some more Ewoks? Come on.
Yeah.
It is weird that they like. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was pushback back in the day, but I feel like they try to emulate the Ewok appeal. You know, Jar Jar was kind of a weak attempt to have like the comedic but cute, lovable, whatever creature. It's like, oh no. And then the newer movies even have like various weird droids or weird little
the Porg
creatures on certain planets, and like.
But do they look like teddy bears? Because if not, then.
Yeah, I feel like none of them really land. I'm surprised they haven't gone back to the Ewok well for the merchandising alone.
That's true. We did get a fair amount of Ewoks, but we haven't seen them since, you know? Like, you'd think that the galaxy was just full of Ewoks at this point, especially after the liberation of Endor, or the moon of Endor.
Yeah, maybe they... But were those... Okay, so Andrew said they had 2 Ewok movies in a cartoon series, but that's old school. And were they quality? I feel like Disney, though. Like Disney.
I loved the first one, but I was a little kid.
I'm amazed Disney hasn't tried to capitalize on them, though. Since they've
You know what they need to do? They need to have the Jawas and the Ewoks hang out together, and that would be hilariously adorable.
Oh my God. No one would know what they were saying, and it'd be fine.
Uh-huh. No, I know.
It would just be Jawas trying... Yeah, and it would just be Jawas trying to rip off Ewoks because Ewoks don't understand money.
Mm-hmm. I think Andrew disagrees, Jesse, with your...
They were awesome! Okay, maybe there were some bad characters in those movies, but...
And he really liked the Ewoks in
Return, see?
But he didn't care for the Ewok properties.
All right, I was a child, and I didn't understand that they were terrible. I loved them, and I watched them every time they were on Channel 6.
If it weren't for you, Jesse, I don't think I'd even have known those existed. Those do not get, like...
I did a tweet along.
I grew up watching Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy. I did not know those Ewok things existed. So
they have hang gliders. They're incredible. Never fight an Ewok.
I don't think.
I feel like they got somewhat buried. Not as hard as the holiday special, but they got buried a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is a little surprising.
I remember, what's her name? She was an ET. She's an adult now. What's her name?
Drew Barrymore?
Drew Barrymore. Yeah. Wasn't she in a thing with the Ewoks? Yeah.
Was she? It might have been. Or it was definitely a girl that kind of looked like Drew Barrymore. I don't think it was actually Drew Barrymore, though.
Oh, it wasn't?
Unless she was in the second one, because I know the second one much less.
Maybe she was the Savannah Smiles kid. I don't know. But I know I had seen her before.
So... Is Obi-Wan, is this the kind of is this going to get a second season? It feels like a one and done to me.
Yeah, I don't know what else they would do.
If they do a second season, I'd say leave the Skywalker kids out of it. Let's see some just Obi-Wan adventures. It doesn't, but that's whatever. That's just the whole like, and I'm not hardcore about the like, enough with the Skywalker stuff, but like, I mean, how much can you do with this guy? Maybe more Leia adventures, I suppose. But
yeah, but she can't be with Obi-Wan for them. And this show is called Obi-Wan, isn't it?
Well, he can't hang out too much with Luke.
Right.
Because Luke doesn't really know him that well in the first movie.
He said hello there.
He did. He did. There. The timing on that was funny because he walked up and pauses, and I'm like, "That's weird." What? Well, hello there. It's like he didn't just spring up on you.
All we wanted was one wow out of Owen Wilson, and we couldn't get it, but we got hello there out of Ewan McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
You're laughing at the comments. That's hardly. It's hardly a fair return of the Ewoks.
No, I was laughing at what you were saying. It just took me a second to process everything. The Owen Wilson thing and the... Wow. Now I want to see Obi-Wan just adopt Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit here. I was a little disappointed that there was no Loki-ness at all in the other thing we watched, which was...
Oh, you're going to transition over that.
I was going to, yes. to Doctor Strange or in the Multiverse of Madness. There wasn't anything to do with any of the Loki stuff, and I thought that would have maybe played a part in it, since it somewhat created the multiverse. Again, if you follow the plot there, it had all been gone, and then it came back or something.
Yeah, like what's her name knows all about the multiverse, and she's the one giving the Marvel universes their designating their numbers, the 616 and whatnot. She don't know about no bureau.
Right.
It is there is a weird disconnect there, I feel, a little bit.
She would be considered a variant, right?
Yeah.
They all would, wouldn't they?
Or she's the only one like her. So what is like
actually, this kind of directly. The Bureau don't know what they're talking about, because the Bureau's thing is they basically destroy all other universes that's not the central one.
The time variance.
Which means none of the places they go in this movie should exist anyway if the Bureau actually was doing their job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it also highlights kind of how ludicrous of an idea the Bureau's goal kind of was.
Well, that's why I'm saying they probably had to do Loki first, so that they broke the one timeline so that there were multiverses. But you would think that they would have brought that in somewhere, even if just like in the end credits, instead of Bruce Campbell punching himself, that they had some kind of interaction with each other because of that,
No. You cut that Charlize Theron tease. You leave Bruce Campbell and give us a Loki.
Right.
You give us Bruce Campbell and Loki.
But see, that's the Phase 4 tease thing. Is like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna introduce characters that most people don't even know, so they have to go Wikipedia that to even know what's going on.
That is because
Eternals.
Yep.
Like I popped hard for that, but everybody's like, well, I don't even know what are you talking? What is this?
Okay, yes. Doctor Strange in the Raimi-verse of madness. Let's talk about it. Are we going to jump straight full spoilers on this?
I mean, I feel like we
dance
can, right? Because it's not only has it been out for a while, it's now on streaming, so...
Yes, that's why we watched it. If we watched it, everybody's seen it already, baby. Come on.
That's true.
At least people who care about spoilers have seen it by now.
Well, we've got one person watching. Hey, Andrew, you see this movie? You see Doctor Strange too? Yet? Okay.
He's seen it. Yeah.
Well, we're good. Anybody who jumps midstream, I'm sorry. So, Jesse, I couldn't really gauge how you felt about this movie, because you'd seen this before and talked a little bit loosely about it. What'd you think of this?
I didn't want to ruin it for you guys, because I was like, well,
right.
You guys will. I assumed you guys would like it, so we'll see if I was accurate or not. And I assumed that you would like it because it is the most Raimi thing that that I've ever seen in the MCU. I mean, like, obviously it's the main Raimi thing we have in the MCU, but like they just kind of were like, oh, you want to do some Raimi stuff with Doctor Strange? Well, we kind of wanted it to be kind of scary anyways, so just go for it. And he did.
Oh, yeah. First off, I don't think I want, because there's a lot. I'm amazed at how much of this, the little things in this, weren't spoiled for me, but I'm pretty sure I just didn't watch a bunch of the trailers, because apparently some of the little fan-winky cameos that pulled me in, that got me, were in trailers, and I didn't know. I didn't see them.
Oh, yeah. One of the first trailers basically showed, like, or even had the voice, didn't it? I don't know. It was, like, pretty obvious. And then, like, they just kept releasing things, like the poster had the broken glass, and you could see little things in the glass. Like, the Captain Carter thing was spoiled a long time ago, because you could see her shield in one of the shards.
Right. Andrew says, I love Multiverse of Madness. What was I going to say? There was an interview I read or even little snippets of an interview a little bit from Sam Raimi, because after Spider-Man 3 ruined him, I think, on big superhero movies for a long time. And he said after that he wasn't going to do superhero movies. Too much studio issues with the studios, famously there's a lot of problems with Spider-Man 3 behind the scenes. Like, they wanted Venom. He had no interest in none of that. Raimi's a classic comic book type of guy. He likes the classic characters. He wanted to do Vulture and stuff like that. But whatever, they pulled him on for this, and he had said, after the fact, he's like, I really enjoyed working on Doctor Strange. The way they do it at Marvel now, you basically, you can play with all the toys in the toy box. What's not to love? And after watching this, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I totally get why he was like on board with it. They let him play with all the toys in the toy box.
Right.
And play with them in his way.
Right.
I loved it. It was so Raimi. I was a little nervous at first, like the opening scene, like, cool to running through the like weird dimension of stuff, but like, I was like, oh man, I don't know. This is just like right off the bat, it's a little goofy. Of course, Raimi tends to be goofy anyway. Even his serious stuff is always kind of hammy. The tentacle monster was cool, but also like super kind of cartoony, and I was like, oh man,
right.
I don't know. But man, by the end we've got a Doctor Strange possessed reanimated corpse wearing a cape made out of the souls of the damned. I was like, oh my god, this is so good.
That's the most Raimi thing ever.
Yes.
And meanwhile, the Scarlet Witch is in a temple to her,
Yeah.
like, just like doing crazy witch stuff.
There were several things that made it feel, there are like little elements of what felt like classic fantasy movies to me. This is just a visual element, but like when the one book in the one like between universe space,
right?
Just the like effect they had on it, I was like, that's like a 80s style like optical glimmery light effect they have on it, except it's modern, so it's like a 3D plane they've got stuck on there so the camera can rotate around. But yeah, then they've got the temple, and with the table that she's gonna sacrifice the girl on, I was like, wow, there's little elements of throwback to this.
Oh, man. Yeah, it had like a Temple of Doom Indiana Jones vibe. It had I don't know if that was like a Dark Crystal / Never Ending Story kind of vibe in that astral plane space.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, Melanie, what did you said? Maybe right after that first scene, something about that's like that setting is like right out of the comics, where it's just like,
yeah, and like this is totally this is a Doctor Strange comic right here, where it's like weird shapes and colors, and he's jumping, and there's like monsters coming. That's really more like, it felt more like a Doctor Strange comic than anything I've ever seen.
And the first movie, I always felt like the first movie was fine, a little bland, really, in the story and stuff. But it had the cool visuals, the cool like Inception-esque push to 11 in visuals. Mm-hmm. This one, I like the visuals more in this one because it had like weird trippy scenes, like settings, and when he went
the render challenge.
The render challenge sequences, and well, like when he goes into the one, like they're in that kind of devastated universe, and he goes into the kind of the bad Doctor Strange, I guess we'll call him, the corrupted Doctor Strange's place, and like it's just when he walks into the mansion, it's just a stairway into like fog and clouds, and it's all open like landscape behind it. Man, that's cool. It's a cool scenery.
I agree.
Also, the music fight. Once I was like, what's with the piano, and then it turns into this big like orchestral music fight. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. It's inventive.
Steve Ditko, I believe, that drew like classic Doctor Strange, like when we did you want to dig in our archives,
Right.
look for Bring On the Bad Guys. I'm assuming the first episode, because that was big. We had to split it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I remember when we talked about the old comics, I was like, I don't get it. There's no rules to the magic. And it's kind of true here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in live action movie form, it comes across, and this is how it should have struck me in the comics, right? It comes across as less, like, there doesn't need to be rules. They're having a fight with musical notes. It's magic. Yeah. It's magic. It's Sam Raimi magic. So, like, accept it. And that's probably how I should have looked at it when we read the comic back in the day.
Yeah, but it's hard sometimes when they're very inconsistent, like the Scarlet Witch and the Illuminati. You know, she can change reality, so she can stop two guys.
They're
very easily put them out of, commission. But then she has to actually hand fight two people for no reason, really.
I mean, they're always inconsistent with her power because she's a Superman.
Strong.
She's too strong. She can alter reality on a whim. And I'm a little surprised at how often we don't see that. There's she really uses that, I think, for two of the, with the Illuminati, there's the two first kills she scores. She uses gauntlet, Infinity Gauntlet style reality warping power.
Right.
But that's it. No, not really any other times which it would benefit her. But they got to have action. They got to have an action. There's got to be a movie.
Yeah. I generally love this movie, but if I am going to volley some criticisms at it has to do with her. And we had just spent an awful lot of time getting to know Wanda in WandaVision. Mm-hmm. And, you feel like you've got layers and nuance, and you understand what has driven her to the breaking point. And yet in this, she becomes very one note in terms of her motivation. And I understand why. This is such a bonkers concept with so many moving parts that you almost have to make this part simple. Mm-hmm. But it's it didn't service the character very much. It's you just came out swinging. I really thought we'd get some subterfuge for a while with her playing both sides or something, trying to work with or against Doctor Strange to lure him off the track or something. But no, pretty much right off the bat.
I was really surprised that she was immediately the bad guy. I didn't expect that at all.
Right.
No, yeah, me either. And it wasn't even just I guess in the logic of how the story of this movie is, all of that setting up was WandaVision, but that's not how WandaVision really played, in my mind.
She came out the hero at the end. She redeemed herself, sort of.
Right.
At the end.
And then just to nope.
Yeah, but she got corrupted by the black hole or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, but that's between WandaVision. I guess that's between the end of the story of WandaVision and the WandaVision final scene, I suppose we're supposed to guess is when that happened, because that's when she is studying. We get that she was studying the book or whatever, but we don't see the progression of that. It's just instant. Nope, she's just the straight up villain. Not only is she the villain of this movie, she's the villain of the plot. It's her doing. So weird.
And where is it that she was living? I mean, I know she had it looks like a nice orchard, but then she drops that and it's a big Bernie wasteland. Where is that at?
Just because the book corrupts everything around it.
Corrupt everything, man.
That nice mountainside cabin she was living in, that's what it became.
That is ridiculous. That was too much of it, I guess, but
she was one note. I think they did fine with no, man, I don't know. She's
I could forgive it, but
I'm being reasonable, and then she just immediately starts killing people, just lots of people. It's that. Yeah. No, what?
Yeah, how's she gonna tell her kids, "I'm not gonna hurt you. I'd never hurt anyone"?
Right.
Dude, we just saw you kill a whole bunch of people. Come on.
Yeah, And yet, you know, like you knew that was always going to be the thing that would break her and bring her back around. And it's like,
Right.
so how totally corrupted by the book was she? Like, she's either totally corrupted by the book or there's redemption. And we kind of had our cake and ate it.
So,
Are her kids real in other places?
They must
I
be.
guess
It's weird how they
yeah.
don't address either Vision or whoever their father would be.
Yeah.
Right.
It's also weird that, although that's like comic book alternate universe logic works. It's like, in this universe, she's got kids, except they're not really kids. She invented them, and they just happen to be like the same exact kids as like the biological ones in other universes. That's such a
Right.
like comic book, like it's the same except different in this way. And it's like, but if you change, like she just happened to make them, and they're like identical to.
Well, because she dreamed them from another universe, you know.
The dream thing was kind of fun.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't like that because that means in other universes, my neighbors were sacrificing people to demons, and my teddy bear could walk around and talk to me, and all kinds of crazy stuff that I really hope isn't real anywhere.
In the Marvel, it seems in play right at home in MCU. Especially you got versions of the MCU with Sam Raimi giving direction. There's
Yeah.
definitely demon sacrifices going on.
Yeah, I like Raimi, and I like Evil Dead, and all of that, but sometimes it's a little much. What's that one movie? That one scary movie with the chick who gets cursed by a gypsy?
Drag me to hell.
Like the anvil falling from the sky. Like that is ridiculous and too much. And it was almost not as bad as the anvil at all, but it was getting close to too much for me.
Drag Me to Hell is a weird instance where tonally it's a mess because it plays large chunks of the movie super straight, like this is a serious horror suspense movie. There's not a touch of camp to it until they're dropping anvils on heads with cartoon sound effects. Like, what? And yeah, he does tend to slip into that. I think it works fine here because, like, it's the MCU, so it's a little cartoony at times anyway. And in particular, I think maybe, even though I didn't care for it, that opening scene really establishes, like, this is a particularly kind of cartoony take on the MCU on Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
But it is so weird that he can't. It's like it's his thing. It's the souls of the damned are deadites. They sound like deadites.
Right.
They speak like they do the voices. Ah!
They move like deadites.
They
There
move
was
like
even the villain
deadites.
cam. I think that was with Wanda, but you know, like yeah.
There are definitely parts that are straight out of like Army of Darkness specifically, which is actually kind of more in line because Army of Darkness is like you take Evil Dead camp horror deadites and then inject like adventure fantasy movie, and that's totally like what it felt like here. There's stuff that felt like it was straight out of
Man, when she was like contorting her like joints to get through
Yeah.
the mirror, I was like, whoa.
Oh, and there's a bit where she was running through those tunnels after them, and she was limping and like, and I was like, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I like that.
it was like yeah, that was like evil, even more evil Carrie like levels of
Mm-hmm.
creepy coming after you villain. Like that was really good.
Yeah.
They pushed because early on I remember them saying like this is the closest Marvel this movie will be the closest to a horror movie that you'll ever get in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or whatever. And I don't think they're wrong. I'm a little surprised. Like I didn't expect really. I was like, yeah, okay, they say that, but it's gonna be pretty low key, you know, not Loki. But they pushed. I mean, I wouldn't call it a horror movie, but they definitely pushed it. The horror aspects, elements of some scenes, way further than I expected. There were a couple jump scares that were legitimate. There was stuff that even it didn't really make sense. Like, why would they stop and see if she could get through that last door when she got through the last, like, 5 doors?
Right.
But they wanted to set
right.
up that cool little jump scare sequence, so fine. The way the one bad Doctor Strange fell onto the fence, and then we get the like third eye jump scare, which they kind of revisit at the end.
I was gonna say, speaking of which, why did he have it again? That's weird.
Because he read that book. He read from the book. It corrupted him a little. It is gross and it looks weird. Are they gonna? They're gonna stick with that, like, because it seems, because then we get, so the movie ends on that. Then we get the first like post or the mid credit scene, whatever you call it, and he's just walking around without it, and it's like, what? And then it's like he suits up, and there it is, and it's like, oh, is that just like part of his costume now? He's just gonna, like, every time he decides it's magic time, he's gonna, third eye's gonna pop open. People, they're gonna make jokes about it.
So somebody's gonna poke him in his third eye.
Yeah. Anyway, I liked it though. I liked it a lot. I kind of liked it more than I expected. It's not, I don't know. If you take the Raimi-isms out, it's not great. But the Raimi-isms kind of made it for me because it was fine. It was serviceable. It was, I think, definitely more memorable
Pizza
than
balls.
the first one. It's got Pizza Papa? Come on. Pizza Papa. Bruce Campbell, man. First off, love Bruce Campbell. He's getting a little old. He's not really selling the beating himself up again like he's not really selling the Three Stooges beat yourself up thing like he used to.
Oh, this is not your Army of Darkness beat down. No.
But as soon as he started, I was like, "Oh, are you serious? Like that's the go-to."
Yeah.
Bruce, you're gonna be in this. I want you to beat yourself up, and he's like, oh, "Fine, again." Okay. Or maybe it's Bruce's idea. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun though. You gotta expect a Bruce Campbell cameo, and he doesn't.
Well, and that is a nice nod to Army of Darkness if you think about it. I mean,
yeah.
Like...
I didn't see Raimi's car. Was it in there?
It has to be, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't notice it.
You're right. It's got to be in there somewhere. But
one of the other things that slightly bothered me, the chick, the I don't know what her power. I mean, I don't know what her name is. Oh, America, the America chick whose power is a star shaped, which I really hate. She's just like, okay, we beat the bad guys. Now I'm just gonna live here now and not go look for my parents at all. You know, that seems a little strange to me.
Yeah. You'd think she'd want to be like, oh, well, I have a grasp on my powers now. I'm going to go look for my mom's right now.
Right.
As opposed to like, no, I'll stay here and learn to be a sorcerer. I wonder how long that'll take.
Right.
It's going to take a long time.
She can't be a sorcerer, though, because we looked it up, actually. The difference between a sorcerer and a wizard is that a sorcerer is born with powers. So I guess she was born with powers.
She has. Yep.
So she is a sorcerer. You're right. You're right.
I wasn't really thinking that deep.
But then Doctor Strange is that he's a wizard.
That's right. We're curious about what the difference between sorcerers and wizards were.
I thought it might be the pointy hat, but I was wrong.
It's a letter to Hogwarts.
I hate his hair in this movie. It looks so fake. It looks so fake most of the time.
At least it was only in a ponytail for a little bit.
That's true. Oh, yeah. That's true. And
no offense. I mean, you guys look fine in ponytails. He did not.
Well, they even made a jab about it too later. I feel like, I'm sure that's not Raimi, but I feel like Raimi is all about, if he had, I don't know how much how much say he had in like costume design and makeup and stuff, but like he likes the maybe golden or bronze age comic book camp. And I feel like he fully is all about it visually. He doesn't, there's no like...
Oh, the Avengers statue of Strange in that one universe? Mm-hmm. That's straight up like, the kind of statue they'd erect for the Avengers in the old days.
Right, right. So, let's get to cameos other than Bruce Campbell. Because... I know their cameo is stupid, and it's like we watched the pitch meeting, the Ryan George pitch meeting thing for it earlier today, and every time there's a movie where it's just like they have the fan wanky cameos, it's like, oh, I know that guy from the other thing, and like, yeah. That said, when I heard the X-Men music, I was like, oh my god, I was like, wow, it's him. It's Professor X, and he's even in the even give him, and it looks so stupid because it's so big and
they
bulky.
give him the
but
gold wonky,
the big yellow plasticky wheelchair,
Yeah.
Or floating wheelchair, whatever it is from the comic or from the cartoon.
Well,
I loved it.
Yeah,
I was initially surprised by Reed Richards. I was like, oh,
yeah.
they're doing fantastic. They're bringing Fantastic Four into it now. Cool, because I know
Right.
eventually they will. But then I was like, Reed Richards, who? They got Professor X.
Right. And then they brought back Black Bolt from that awful TV series, and it was like, wow. I thought Kevin Feige hated it, and then I saw what happened next.
What series? What TV show was it? Was that
Inhumans?
Inhumans?
It
Oh.
was so awfully panned that like they didn't even. I don't even think they finished the first season. Like they aired a couple episodes, and they were like, yeah, nobody likes this.
Right. Okay, interesting. The way he went out. Wait, was he the Whisper guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the.
Okay.
Yeah, his power is any sound he makes can just like level skyscrapers, kind of thing.
The effect for when he didn't have a mouth, I was a little surprised. I was a little shocked by it. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's pushing that PG-13.
They have that.
Really, how they took out most of those guys was like, whoa. I mean, it's cartoony though, but still.
It's true. What did they call her? Captain
Carter.
Captain Carter. Even though it's totally off screen, but I was like, whoa, nice.
Yeah.
That's a pretty hardcore kill with the
Right.
with the shield there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And then they just chop up Reed Richards, and yeah.
I think they may have listened to criticisms from the past a little, because they did have her kill off the guys real quick, and then it was chicks fighting, hand-to-hand combat, which was good, but and not as heavy-handed as the chick lineup, but
It's a more organic way to,
little right. So they're doing a little bit better.
Yeah.
With
Well,
that
it's kind of
stuff.
cool to see. That was basically Monica Rambeau's mom, right? Like they gave her the they gave her the Captain Marvel powers.
Oh,
was it?
okay.
I think
I didn't even realize
I don't
that.
think it was
Thank you.
Monica. It was, yeah.
Okay.
That's because they know
the
nobody likes
lady.
Captain Marvel.
Right. They were like, just give it to the other gal. Just give it to her. The
Yeah.
friend.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah.
It took me a minute when I was watching it too. I was like, that's not Monica, but who is that? And it was like, oh yeah, that's Monica's mom.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Good stuff, man. I mean, people, I feel like it's already the case. There's so much pushback on multiverse stuff, but man, no. This is the comic book movies are full on comic book now, and I'm kind of all about it with this multiverse stuff. It's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, and I think this universe's version of Doctor Strange is barely a good guy, and it makes sense because all the other ones seem to be bad guys. So
Right. Like, I think that works.
yeah, because in the first movie he seemed like a bad word. I'll tell you.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Well, and in Spider-Man, he's pretty irresponsible.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing. Why not?
Yeah, he's
I'll
just
erase
too.
everyone's
he's far-
memory.
Yeah, he's far too arrogant to be a good guy.
That's kind of the thing. He's like, it's fine. I got this. He's too cocky. He's too arrogant. Yeah, for sure.
But he isn't the Sorcerer Supreme, is he? Haha.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, the what if, and I kind of figured this. I did, because I do remember from the one trailer of this where we see that there's a corrupted or a bad Doctor Strange. I was like, that they totally, that what if is to kind of establish these ideas as a thing that happens for. I mean, I think for people who comic book fans too, but also for people who maybe aren't, be like, hey, here's a thing this is the thing that can happen. Hint, hint. This could happen. It's going to happen, and we want you to pay $20 to go see it. So,
right. They even gave that costume to the first Doctor Strange that we see, didn't they? Like, isn't his like the purple with the weird dragon?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think
think they even snuck that in.
And was the temple place that she goes at the end, is that the same place that in the What If, the Doctor Strange went and got access to whatever it is that corrupted him when he did the, like, just like conjured demons from different universes just to like kill them and take their power to...
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've only seen that episode once, so...
I mean, if this Doctor Strange, if all he got was a third eye, he's lucky. He could have tentacles that creep out from the shadows every time he like isn't paying
turn
attention.
Green once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, that one ended up in like he didn't even have a whole universe left. He had like a square he was in or something.
Yeah, tiny little space.
Itty bitty living space.
Yep, a genie to him. All right.
Well, that was amazing.
It was amazing. You know what else is amazing?
What?
Nutrigenomics, which is a new field that centers around the idea that food delivers important messages to an animal's genome. And we've been doing people have been doing lots and lots of studies about it. And, you know, we found out that our relationship with food is a lot more intimate than we had previously realized. So there's one example that I wanted to share.
So was it what kind of messages? Like, you up?
No, shut up.
That kind of intimate? Sorry.
Genome, are you up?
This is like a more extreme example, but in bees, the queen bee is genetically identical to the worker bees. And the thing that makes her a queen bee is the royal jelly. So she eats royal jelly while they eat pollen and regular stuff. And compared to them, she lives for years while they live for weeks. And she births an entire colony and they're all sterile. And all of that comes just from eating royal jelly because it flips these genetic switches in her body. And we have those same types of things. They're just less dramatic. So like amino acid methionine influences cell growth and division. The more you eat of it, the more likely that is to occur. So it's things like that on a smaller scale, like I said, but we all have those little switches in us that the foods that we eat affect and will flip on and off and change how much of a hormone or whatever is produced, which is kind of nuts. And really one of the most interesting things that they've discovered is that the information in our genes that we absorb from nutrients will go on for generations. So like the things that we eat will affect the risk of disease and mortality in our grandchildren. So now, since we know that, people are starting to respond the additives and the packaging and stuff that we put in our food, and even the food that we're feeding the animals that we eat, because that will get into our systems and affect us. So it's a big area of study that's just growing, and there's not really any specific news to say here. It's just, I think that's amazing. I think everybody should try to follow it. And as they keep making more and more discoveries, which they're obviously going to be doing since it's actually an area of study now, officially, it will be amazing. And so I'll have to share some of that with you later.
Cool.
And it's kind of scary. Be careful what you eat.
Yeah, I mean, that's like beyond the usual, like, obviously food has an impact on you and your body and whatnot, but that's like,
man, the even worse part is
it's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids.
Yeah, because really not only does it affect you and your kids, it also affects your gut biome. Those are all individual creatures that don't have your DNA that are different than you. It affects them as well because they're eating what you eat. So that can screw them up, which again screws up, they interact with your body and your brain. So now you don't have to just worry about you. You have to worry about all the things that live in you. and how what you're eating affects them. It's kind of crazy.
Live in my body, eat my food.
Like we said at the top of the hour, hydrate, kids.
Yep,
You're right.
Yep. Water's definitely good for you. I should drink more of it.
It's got what your gut gut bugs.
It's got what gut biomes crave.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. If you don't take care of your gut biome, you could end up.
Same difference.
No, don't. Well,
Yes.
If you take care of your gut biome, could end up needing to get a poop transplant, and that sounds like the grossest, most disgusting thing ever to me. But they're real.
It is real.
They will take somebody else's poop and put it in your intestines because your gut biome is messed up. So there you go.
Like a reset. Ugh.
It is exactly what it is. They're trying
Sounds
to
like a real crappy
reset
deal.
the flora and fauna in your gut.
Classy show. I don't know who just tuned back in, but hey, welcome. It was a classy show.
Hey, we go out with amazement. We didn't say it was always going to be your favorite.
That's okay. Well, hey,
yeah,
that was great.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got anything you want to mention before we jump out of here? Jesse, you got anything going on?
Oh, maybe. There may be a mini-con that I'm going to go to in July. I believe the 19th, maybe.
Cool.
Seems like a thing I should have looked up before we started podcasting. But
Yeah, there's.
I'll be posting some stuff about that.
Oh, it was Dana. Hey, Dana, you guys are all class. All class.
Yeah.
X-Men First Class.
Hey, science
best.
is always classy, even if it's about poo.
It's true.
Isn't that Randy's favorite word, poo?
Yeah. It sounds so great and growing up.
It's well documented in this Grawlix podcast series that we are.
Poo
part
on
of.
its own isn't bad, but you throw the poop. I hate that word. You're right. You just reminded me of that. Ugh. It's so stupid. It's a stupid word. Hey, Melanie, you got anything you want to mention?
Nope.
Okay. I guess I don't either. Music stuff. I'm still working on that music video. I didn't realize it was going to take so long. My last music video finally clicked over 5,000 views, so that's pretty cool. It's definitely slowed. I had thought I was going to have another music video ready to go by now, but maybe it was a little ambitious in my planning of it. But yeah, I'm gonna push my album release back till next month so I can get the music video done and then actually have time to do the finishing art stuff for the album and whatnot. So there we go. I know you guys are all hanging on every update detail on that. That's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, Dana and Andrew earlier and Savannah and everybody in the future. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you want to hear more, go to grawlixpodcast.com. It's GRAWLIX podcast.com. And I was going to make some Doctor Strange reference, but I got nothing. So thanks everybody.
Pizza Papa.
Oh, Pizza Papa will return. He probably won't. I wish they'd have went with that because then people would be like, they always actually set up sequels in these. We're going to get Revenge of Pizza Papa.
Yes.
I hope he shows back up in something. He's the best.
You know what they'll do, though? They'll resume the beating. It was just like, oh, you again.
They absolutely will. You're right. All right.